Hello viewers, you're welcome to the channel. My name is Christian James Ikechukwu, the CEO of Bristol Farms Aquaponics, the heart of perfect farming. So you're welcome to the online DIY free lecture classroom. So beside me is a senior colleague and animal scientist. I'm in his farm, actually inside his brooding pen, to see the way we are. So I want him to introduce himself to you viewers.
Yeah, good day, viewers. My name is Victor Ezedina, and I'm a small boy COO of Disney Farm, which is a subsidiary of the Gratiam Dairy Limited. And you're welcome again. You're welcome once more to DIY poultry and aquaponics. But today, as our lovely uncle has introduced, we're going to be talking more of poultry for today.
So we're going to take some few little, should I say, basic topics for today based on poultry. And if you're watching this channel, I want you to follow everything we're going to teach today seriously. Whether you're a farmer or you're not a farmer, why it's called DIY is for us here to put you through. You don't need to study animal scientist or whatever course to be a farmer, basically a poultry farmer, because everything we're going to teach you here will be the basic guides you'll be needing to be a successful poultry farmer. So once more, you're welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be taking on the topic what to do before stocking your DOC. So for the new farmers and those intended to be a farmer, DOC simply means day old chicks. So over to you.
Okay. Thanks for the privilege. Yeah. So basically, I always tell especially new farmers that there is really nothing difficult in farming, especially the poultry aspects. It's not there is no market magic. It's not rocket science. You don't need to have a degree for you to, if you're the all it takes is your enthusiasm. Takes you can develop a passion for it. So it takes passion, it takes time, devotion. So and with all these things you would achieve. Then over time you will get to grow your personal experience. So your personal experience is actually what helps you in your farm, because there's a saying that says another man's meat is another man's poison. So it's always like yeah. So sorry for that. So as like I said, so there's that saying that another man's meat is another man's poison. So actually somehow there is always a basic rule in the farm practice, but what actually works for A might not be what works for B in terms of outbreaks and every other things and so on. So you get to understand as we progress. You get to understand. So, but firstly, basically, we're talking about what to do before stocking your DOC. So that topic alone, it's derived from your biosecurity. So, but we can't say it's derived directly from biosecurity because biosecurity is an existing thing. So it starts from when you stock, before you stock, when you stock, during stocking, during the rearing, brooding, all those things. So it's an extensive thing, but we just want to focus majorly on what to do before you stock your DOC. So now basically it's still under biosecurity, like we say. So basically before you stock your DOC, where this is where the errors are always committed. So you should know your space. You should know your space, because it helps a lot. Now you would say, oh, it's not the feed, it's not the water, it's not the medication, it's not, no. There are so many factors to how your beds would respond to you, and how the management will respond to your pocket in terms of profit and in terms of loss. So first, you should know your space. So, and if you have a space that can rear, breed, and grow out 50 pieces, and you stock 100 pieces, you're heading for a disaster. There's a problem there. There's a problem there. So, which we'll talk about capacity much later. So if you have a space for 50 to grow out level, yeah. So now we're talking about grow out level. Also, you should know the weight you want. That's basically what the space should be able to accommodate the number of beds with the desired weight.
Okay.
So that's what gives you a perfect management, farm management. So now you should know your space. So now, after knowing your space, of course, if it's a new place, well, not much is needed to do, because it's a new but if it's an existing space or existing farm, you have a lot to do, because you don't know what pathogens, what infections, viruses, or whatever had been deposited there by the past farmer. So you need to be really careful. You need to be really careful. You need to do a whole lot of washing, a whole lot of bleaching, a whole lot of disinfecting. And if you also have you have the capacity to run a large capacity farm, then you can also talk about heating. Yes, so it's very not common. Most people don't know you can also heat. Yeah, so now when we talk about heating, it's a process where there is a machine that is generated that emits hot fumes, gas-like fumes. They use it on the floor where you're going to that's if you're doing deep litter system. So even you're doing cage system, same thing. They heat up all those places where the birds will stay. It's basically to kill germs. And then all these pathogens and all these germs, they don't do well under heat. So it's basically, but that is after you've done your massive washing. And when you're talking about washing, you're washing with water, your detergent of any sort, but that is powerful anyway. Then you do your bleaching, and your bleaching can be, there is a chemical bleach we use in poultry, or the regular bleach. But you should know any which one you're using. You should know the capacity, the strength. And how do you know? You pour the bleach in the water, then if you put your hand, if you're the kind that have sensitive skin, if you put your hand, there is a way it burns you. Though it's already diluted in water, there's a way it burns you. It gives you this hot sensation and peeling your skin or something, which sometimes is or if you don't want to, because that I can do anyway. It's based on experience. You know when it's going to eat you up and so. So what you want to do is when you mix it in the water to a certain quantity, you don't use much quantity of water for that. So when you perceive it, there's a way it throws a conch smell. So okay, that should work.
Ratio is okay.
So that should work. So and then you need to put on rubber safety shoes. So probably like your rain boots, because if you step in that place, especially when it's mixed with soap, if you step in that place where you're washing, if you're doing your deep litter, it will be eating up. You'll be feeling the thing is eating up your soul, and by the time you're done with bare legs, you won't like it because that's eating your legs. So that is what the farm bleach does. When we use there's a name to it. So it's not. But if you're using the regular bleach, and it's the same effect. So you need to, if you're using for deep litter, you need to wash up all the place firstly with soap. Then you don't know if you need to soak it if it's an existing pen where they've used,
All right.
and you need to soak it with your soap and your bleach. You soak everywhere. You soak it, not damping. You soak it everywhere. So you leave it for like 30 minutes or 1 hour, where you know that everywhere. By the time you use ordinary rain boot to chip off any place. If I remember there is money on it, you chip off, it removes easily. So you know it's soak easy. Then the next thing you do, you get the same bleach and soap. You now start using your brush, hard brush, to scrub. Now the mistake most people make is they only scrub the floors. They forget the sides of the pen, the walls.
Okay.
You also do that.
Okay.
Because birds also pick from there, and sometimes they defecate on the walls and the splashes and all. So you do that. So after you do that proper cleaning and everything, you're done with your bleach and your soap. Then you rinse. Then you can now decide to wash again with the soap.
Okay.
But if you don't want to go through the washing of the soap again, you just make sure that the bleach and the soap is so conk that when you finish soaking, when you're washing it with the bleach and the soap, that alone, you're having a slippery floor. By the time you pour water, you're having a slippery floor. No matter what, it shows that the soap and the bleach has done its job.
Alright,
Yeah.
alright.
So then you wash, then you scoop out all. If you have a channel that cannot, you don't have an outlet, you scoop out all what you've done. So after that, you rinse properly again. Yeah, to make sure that there is no leftovers of the soap and the bleach and everything. Yeah, so after it doesn't mean that the bleach has not penetrated and it's done its work. That's done its work. So then later you can, to disinfect, you can use disinfectant. I don't want to mention a brand. I don't know, but most people use whitish like disinfectant that smells like all these Izal and the rest. So another people use other disinfectants that also other colors that are mild, like so Dettol and the rest. Let me just say them. So that, but there's also a farm disinfectant also, like Vinco Kill, so many. That you can also use as your food dip and everything. There's also one that you can also use as a water sterilizer that also the birds can drink. So there are so many. So just make your choice, make your option. So when all those is done, you leave your pen a day or two to dry out totally. So let air come in, mix it. So make sure everywhere is properly dried and everything. So that is if you're using a deep litter. But if you're using a cage, same process. Any unique way you want to wash your, but all those basic ingredients has to be there. You wash also your cage, leave it out. Mostly for the cage, you leave it out to dry. So they also dry too. Then what else? So I think that's about all you do. Let it air dry. Then prepare your process of bringing the chicks. If it's a deep litter, start pouring your shaving, your straw buds, cheap straw. Another controversial issue, your sawdust, if that's what you find in your area. But professionally, they don't mention that. They always mention wood shaves, straw bud, chop straw, hay, and all those stuff. We can't find hay and chop straw here in Nigeria, so it's only sawdust. And trust me, the people in the sawmill, it's now monetized. But they used to leave the sawdust alone. So, and they also always monetize the shaving. But if you see sawdust, go and take sawdust. Now you can only take the sawdust and don't take the one that is too dusty. If you know you are scared of sawdust, don't take the one that is too dusty, that looks so powdery. Like when insects eat wood. And when the dusty part, when the wood start dropping on the floor, the way it's so dusty. When you take it up and you leave it and it's coming down, like those kind of things can cause catarrh to even human beings.
Yes, it
chokes. So you don't use that type. But that is for you. For me, I can use any sort
based on
my professional.
Because I said you're an animal scientist.
So I just want to clear that controversy, please.
All right.
Sawdust is also good. Now, the people say why they don't use sawdust is because the birds peck on them or they eat them.
They eat and it's
blocks and undigestible.
Fiber.
Exactly.
So that is why.
So, but the truth is, your bird peck anything if you don't give them the right amount of food. If you don't give them the right amount of food, they peck anything. And secondly, even to help you, whether it's deep litter, whether it's especially on deep litter, whether it's you are using wood shave or anything, you can introduce what we call newspaper or cardboard to the floor.
Okay.
First of all, before you even think of your wood shave or your straw or whatever, before you think, you can introduce I prefer cardboard because it's more thicker.
Okay.
Cartons, all these cartons,
Your
normal cartons,
empty
like
cartons
empty
for
carton,
used,
Milo,
okay.
Indomie, all those cartons.
Alright.
You lay them on the floor. Then
but is it advisable to put like maybe your sack, like the sack from your feed material, any sack?
No.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
the reasons why is that when you put all those sacks on the floor and everything, it has a direct stoppage
Okay.
for the the earth also breathes.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's cause a stoppage, and then the physics and everything, the definition of the DOCs,
Yes.
it becomes watery.
Yes.
So with the heat like and the heat coming out, and it makes it wet all times, which that kind of thing can easily introduce coccidiosis to the birds,
Okay.
which is not too good.
Alright.
So when you use carton, when they defecate on it, the carton absorbs, just the same way newspaper absorbs.
Okay.
But the carton absorbs, and because the carton is thicker than newspaper, it lasts longer than newspaper.
Okay.
So that's why you can use newspaper if you don't
use
see carton.
carton.
But you can use carton if you don't see newspaper. But if the best, you can use carton because it absorbs.
Both can substitute for each other.
Exactly, both can substitute for each other, but
Right.
carton absorbs more
Okay.
because it's thicker.
Alright.
So then after that, you do that for like 2-3 days
Okay.
before you now introduce them to shade. And while you do that, when you freshly place the DOCs on the carton, you can also sprinkle feeds, little quantity on the carton. That's before they even start to defecate already. Before you place them, so it helps them to know that this is food, so they get used to the food
Okay.
faster before even the feeders. And then if you're dealing with feeders, I would like you to use mostly flip top feeders, not all these trays anymore. I'll give you an example of trays like this. Don't use them because they defecate in the feed and everything, they waste the feed and everything. So I prefer use a flip top feeder, so that they can't defecate inside. And the sample of that is something like this. Okay, but this one I had to cut it so that even after 2 weeks they can still put their head in it up to 3 weeks. Usually there's always a hole, about 14 pieces hole here, 14 pieces hole on the other side. So it's 28 head holes. So this is a 28 head holes, but I had to cut it. Don't mind, I had to cut it because after 1 week their head will still enter for 3 weeks, but because they're getting bigger, if it takes 28 to eat here, after 4 days or 5 days, 28 will not be able to eat here because of the body size. They grow in body size, but their head can still enter it for like up to 3 weeks. Because I had to cut it. So I cut it, so even after 2 weeks they are still eating from understand. So
Alright, so sorry to cut you short. We're already taking more time to explain this thing. So you've gotten it. The first question, what to do before your DOC arrives. So my professor here, an animal scientist, have already said, one, your spacing. You don't just stop because you have space. You have to know the calculation of your space, and I think that will call for another lecture, but it will be for another day anyway. Now you have to know your space, know the amount of beds that could contain there before you stock. Now after knowing your space, I think he made mention of disinfecting and sterilizing the environment. So if you're watching, this is DIY, you can do it yourself. So the next question I want him to answer now, after all said and done, what are you to do when your DOC arrive in your farm?
okay, so quickly, before they even arrive, you need to have set up all those the cartons, everything, the feeders. Don't make that mistake. The feeders with feed in it, the drinkers with water in it, whatever medication you want to start with in it. Then you preheat the room. You preheat the room. Don't let the birds arrive and you're not heating the room, because most times if your place seems to be a bit colder, they adopt what they meet there in the first instance. So if it's too cold for them, you want to place them there, they won't run around to eat or do anything. They will come together to form use their own body heat to sustain. So which is not very good practice. So if they have a very good brooding source and heat, and they already meet what they want, they immediately disperse. Everyone for their self, every man for themselves. They start fighting, looking for food, looking for water, exactly, for survival. So that's why you place all those feed on the floor, because they want to peck the floor. They find, okay, when they find that this one is interesting or is sweet, then they head into where the source, the container that carries the thing. So, and because they are attracted to red drinkers with red base, they already know that, oh, this is attractive. They go there. If it's water that is there, they pick the water. If it's the feeder is red too, they pick the feed. They're already taking it from the floor. So, okay, it's much in that place, so they go there to go and do it. So when before your birds arrive, preheat your room.
Okay.
That's the answer to that. When before your birds arrive, preheat the room, so that when the birds arrive, they already have a comfortable place to stay, and activity starts immediately. And trust me, when your activity starts immediately, you are heading for the best management ever, because that is where you know that at the end of 1 week you have a very good weight result. And when you have a very good heat management and a very good bed management, at your 1 week you either hit the standard weight or you hit over the standard weight.
Okay.
And that first week practice will tell you whether you're going to succeed in the rest of the week or you're going to fail.
Okay. So you've all heard what he said, and there are so much you will learn from this channel. If this is your first time, I will urge you, subscribe to this channel, go to the notification bell, give it a click, a thumbs up, so you could see other interesting and mind-blowing videos that I'll be posting here on this channel, teaching you on every aspect of farming. But right now we're starting with poultry farming. So you're watching DIY. I am Risto Farms Aquaponics, the heart of perfect farming, and
this is Day Farms, a subsidiary of DGMD Limited. So together we're saying stay tuned, follow us, and make sure you subscribe, share the video, turn on your notification button, and send us a comment.
okay.
Send us a comment, because you're going to see it on two channels. You're going to see it on two channels. You see it on Ristia Farm, you see it on Day Farm, DIY Poultry. So we're all doing DIY. So it's also DIY Poultry for me, DIY Poultry Aquaponics for him, and then we have the same videos will be on the two channels. So we would most likely drop a comment. So that's when we know that what we're doing is impacting everyone, is impacting you, and you're trying to learn.
It's an open page.
Exactly.
You're free to ask your questions.
So you're free to ask your
question, you drop it. So when we read, we'll answer, we'll give you feedback. You can even send the mail.
Yeah, and trust me, you're going to learn more and more. And don't forget, it's just a startup. We still have so many things, and one good thing is that we now deal with organics. So we don't do synthetics, but we would also train you on synthetics, but we do purely organic now, which is now the new trend, the new face of agriculture right now, for healthy feed, and which we are also promoting, healthy feeding to the nation. So enough of cancer and all those debris of synthetic in your beds, in your fish, in everything, even in your crops. So watch out. So you have really lot of things to gain from this channel. Okay, so watch out.
All right. From me, we love you. Signing out.
From me, same. Peace out.